Guys, today we have something very unique. This is my brother, Derek. He has a YouTube channel, Derek Space, and my passion for guns is very similar to his passion for fishing. Now, what kind of fishing? What do you do?
I do everything from freshwater trout high up in the mountains, like in the Great Smoky Mountains. I also do, several times a year, I drive down to South Florida, the Everglades, mix it up with the alligators. And what scares me the most is the mosquitoes, man. I ain't worried about the alligators, it's the mosquitoes.
They'll take you away.
And I exclusively fly fish.
Now, you not only just go in and walk in, you do a lot with canoes and with kayaks.
Exactly, like, for example, a lot of trout trips. I'm hiking in a mile, 3 miles sometimes, and then I'm fishing the river. And then I'm walking back, and a lot of times, some of these places, there's nobody else.
Right, right.
And when you're going by yourself, you know, guys, anytime you go out in the woods, and you're going to be, number one, tell someone where you're going.
Right, right.
You know,
that's a good one.
And hey, if I'm not back by 9:30, call the park ranger, or call somebody, or send my brother to come get you.
Right, and I've done that.
Yeah, I think you have.
I have done that.
But, so, you know, thought crossed my mind years ago, what do I got to do to be prepared? What could possibly happen? You got to think, what could possibly happen?
And this is in real world. You're out there, again, where there's nobody. And not only hiking too, but you also do camping a lot of times when you're out. I mean, obviously when you go to South Florida, you're camping by yourself the whole week, pretty much.
Yeah, now usually I'm in a campground.
Okay.
Some strange ones, but I'm in a campground. A lot of times I also do, like in the mountains up here for trout, I'm camping in the woods by myself. I'm carrying different bags for walking in to somewhere. I'm also, but when I get in my boat, I'm carrying different bags. And so I've got basically my quote survival supplies are split up into 2 different bags and a lot of duplication in between.
Right.
And so basically what today we're just going to go through what I carry with me, why I'm carrying it. And this may not be exactly what you want to carry. Just get you to start thinking. What would happen? I'm 2 miles in, no one's around, and I get snake bit. I break an ankle.
Okay, so what's your nickname with your buddies when you go with guys?
Well, to make a long story longer, I was at a camp group, about 15 of us camping, and every time someone would say, oh man, I forgot my fork, I forgot my this, I got an extra, oh, I forgot my fill in the blank, I got an extra. And then after literally about 1 day of that, it was like we were sitting around a campfire, and the guy said, Derek, you're just a Boy Scout. And then it stuck. And I mean, that was it. I've never been Boy Scouts, but.
And then one time, you know, you had two paddles.
Yes.
On a canoe trip.
Always.
Bro. And then one of the guys was kind of ragging you a little bit, and then he lost his paddle.
It's happened 3 times. Not with the same guy.
Right, right.
But 3 times, I always in my canoe, I always take an extra paddle. And 3 times, well, sometimes I drop mine in a rapid. Well, I grab my extra one and go hunt it down. But 3 times I've had friends of mine. One guy, he had one of these boats that are oared. It's an inflatable pontoon. And what happens when an oar breaks? Well, you're going in circles. And so, luckily my paddle is actually long enough he could actually use it to keep fishing the rest of the day.
Wow.
And so, you know, you got to think of everything.
So this isn't necessarily about fishing.
No, this is not.
This is about things that when you're out in the outdoors, actually whether you're hunting, fishing, hiking, doing whatever, camping, this will apply.
All right, guys, when I'm doing a 1-day trip, you know, it's a day trip, I'm hiking in a couple of miles, gonna do some fishing, hike back out. I may be in a place where, number one, it just goes straight up and down. I mean, and lightness is extremely important. The main reason I picked a sling pack like this Patagonia here, it's very lightweight. It's got enough room so I can bring everything I want to take with me. It's easy to sling. You can, you know, if you gotta climb up something, I have literally just take it and just thrown it up a big incline and and then just climb up after it. But it's tough, it's quality. Guys, I'm telling you. Yeah, it was 150 bucks or whatever it was, but I'll tell you what, I'm gonna use it for 10, 15 years. It's just not gonna tear apart on me. I won't have to buy 3, I only have to buy 1.
Now why do you like the sling pack?
I like the sling pack because the way, number one, the lightness. Number two, it's out of the way of my chest. In other words, you see a lot of these guys fishing, they have a chest pack, okay? This, it just slings around my back, and so while I'm fishing, it's out of my way while I'm reeling that line in and casting, and I'm not bumping into my chest all the time, chest pack. And it's just very handy.
And then when you need it, you can just bring it around.
Yeah, I just sling it around under my arm, and it's right in front of me, just like a chest pack. Okay, guys, if you take my pack, we're going to tear it apart a little bit. One of the very, very important things, let's say you are in the woods and you step in a hornet's nest. So what I do is, I got Benadryl. I've got Tylenol. Well, let's say, for example, I sprain my wrist really bad and I'm paddling, okay? I got that or I've sprained an ankle and I got to hike 2 miles straight up, okay? I'm gonna want some pain relief. I've also got what's called MCT oil, or mid-chain triglycerides. And it's a form of energy. It's not like a Bull energy drink or anything like that.
Red Bull.
A Red Bull. It sustains for a long time, and it doesn't make you jittery or anything like that. So a lot of times before I'm hiking out, I go ahead and take one on the hike out. I've always got a dry cloth with me. For one, glasses, wiping your glasses, wiping my camera lens, because I'm always shooting, I'm always, you know, my GoPro's humming when I'm out there. And so, and then there's like just wiping the sweat off of you. But another thing is, if you have a really bad laceration, I'm gonna wrap this around, and then I'm gonna take this ace bandage and just do it really, really tight. Definitely take an ace bandage. You know, I'd flatten this down so it'll fit in there real good. But you never know when it could be you don't break anything, you lacerated yourself, and you got to stop the bleeding. Yeah, we got meds, we got wound taken care of. Another thing to think of is water. Guys, water is huge. And I'll tell you this is a trick I do. Let's say I'm going to drive an hour and a half up to the mountains to go trout fishing. I drink 2 of these on the way up. So when I start the hike, let's say I'm going to hike, it's in July, it's going to be 90 degrees in the shade. I'm already hydrated. So I'm just going to carry 2 bottles of water. In other words, and again, one of my things is when I'm walking in like this, fishing on foot, I can't carry a whole lot. I don't want to carry a whole lot. I want to carry as little as possible.
But you also carry a Frontier filter straw.
Yes, and I do carry the Frontier straw filters. What if this somehow slipped out of my pack when I didn't know it? Nah, it's a mile and a half away, you know? So anyway, it's very important. But again, drink water before you even start the trip. Just go ahead and get hydrated. Another thing I do, because a lot of times it is in July and August, and it's 100 degrees, 90 degrees, whatever. And I've seen this because back in the day when I did heat treatment work, you would get so hot, you'd get heat stroke, and you just pass out. I woke up on a cement floor with about 5 guys looking over me asking me if I was okay. I did not take any salt tablets. So what I do is find you some electrolyte powder, whatever brand, it doesn't matter, that you can buy them. Now don't get the ones for the babies, the Pedialyte, because it's just not enough of it, okay? But I take some of this, and one of the main reasons I bring some of it in little bitty containers is you may have a friend that goes with you, and he made the mistake of drinking all night, so he starts off the day dehydrated. He's got some water, but he goes through it pretty fast, so next thing you know, he's about to pass out from heat exhaustion. I get some of that electric light, I give him some of my water, and we may not have to call the EMS guys to come out and rescue him. I always carry one of these little cheap, lightweight, I mean, it fits anywhere, a space blanket. Obviously, you break a leg, you're gonna spend the night. Better to have that than not have it. A way to start fire, of course. You see the stuff, y'all are familiar with all this kind of fire starting stuff. They said, Derek, why you got a whistle? Well, that's a good question. A lot of times I'm fishing at a place where it's real windy, or there is a lot of water, rapids, rushing water. And if I need to get someone's attention, they may not hear me over the rapids. But this right here, it will get their attention. And guys, do not take one flashlight.
Yeah.
Do not, because something could hit that in your bag, and it runs your battery down. You don't know it until you need it. Also, you'll notice this one right here, it clips on the top of my hat, and so it's hands-free. Very important when you're climbing out in the dark up the side of a mountain with a fly rod in your hand. Very important. And guys, I don't even have to mention this.
But a knife is the most important tool.
If I have to mention this, you don't go out in the woods. Don't.
But now you also carry one in your pack, but you carry one on your person.
Right. I got one in my pocket. This one goes in the pack. There's one in the other packs, and y'all get the idea. Real quick, rain jacket. And I'm gonna tell you something. You're thinking, okay, it's the middle of summer, it's really hot. You know, I get wet, I'll feel good. Guys, you get an hour of rain and you're not prepared for it, hypothermia will kick in. Take a rain jacket if you think it's gonna rain. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depends on where I'm at. And real quick, guys, the basics. A buff. My neck is red enough. I do not need sunburn. could tell you stories about people who get surgery on the backs of their hands, on their noses, from sunburn, from years and years. I wear sun gloves. I actually don't even put sunscreen on me. I got long sleeve shirts and I wear the sun gloves, the buff, and a wide brim. This is a goofy, this is a silly tilly hat. I know, this thing is indestructible. It costs 70 bucks. But anyway, that wide brim, guys, my neck is red enough. And bugs will kill you. Bugs, and you may get stuck out in the woods when you weren't expecting it. And it gets dark, them bloodsuckers are coming out, you're dead. Okay guys, this is one of the bags I carry in my boat. This is actually where the fishing tackle goes. A few things I carry in my tackle bag. This right here is an air horn. Guys, this recently happened to a good friend of mine. He was in his boat, in a little John boat, and a drunk guy in a big bass boat ran him and his girlfriend over, killing them both. When someone's in a bass boat or any kind of motorboat that's going really fast, they can't hear you yell and scream and holler. Have an air horn handy. They are loud. Obviously, of course, flashlights. Again, 2. One of them might not work. And you say, Derek, I've heard tie yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Why do you have why do you have a red ribbon? Guys, back in February of this year, I was going into a part of the Everglades that there was a trail, but I mean, I'm talking about using the canoe, but there's all these mangrove little islands and it's a maze. And I found that breadcrumbs don't work. They just don't. I don't know. The brim eat them or whatever. So what I did was, before I went, I thought about, and guys, this is what we're trying to get you to do. Think about the things you're going to do, the situations you're going to be in, what could possibly go wrong. So before I went on the trip, I just went and bought some red ribbon with the little carbiners, all right? And I got about a dozen of these, and what I did was, as I went through places, I would put one of these on a limb, and then I'd get 50 feet, 100 feet away, I'd put another one on. And guys, what happened was, I was checking a place out, turned around to go back the way I'd come in, and I was headed 90 degrees away. I was thinking, where's my red ribbon? Where's my red ribbon? It was 90 degrees from where I thought I had come in at.
Wow.
And it took a minute. It took a minute to get turned around like crazy. Guys, save your life.
Now that can also be while you're hiking.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you get lost.
If you're going off the trail.
Yeah.
And you've never been there before.
Yeah, you can
That's
get
a
lost.
very good point. Okay, and guys, especially when I'm in the boat, but this would be good. This would be a good thing for a lot of different modes of transportation. I carry a dry bag. It's just a standard dry bag every canoeist has. Right here is where you can open it up, get into it. Everything stays dry.
It's kind of made of a rubberized material.
It's made of a rubberized material. It's very tough. This one, as you can tell, has been through it. It's actually been to hell and back. The Hell's Bay Trail. Anyway, and so this is where I put the main bulk of the survival type gear that I use. Okay, and in my main bag for the boat, yeah, I've got, I mean, guys, this is obvious. This is obvious. First aid, always.
And this is trauma, so you've got a tourniquet, you've got compression gauze, you've got everything in here for just major stuff. Exactly.
You know, I carry some more pills, the Benadryl, the stuff I went through, the fire making stuff and my pills I went. that I went through in the other bag. But above that, yeah, face bandage like before, flashlights. I got flashlights everywhere. Another space blanket. This one's a little thicker, a little heavy duty.
Well, and the first bag actually is what you carry on your person.
Yes.
This is what you have in the boat.
This is what I have in the boat. And so instead of like taking the stuff out of one bag and forgetting stuff and putting it in the other bag, and then when you need it, you ain't got it because it's in the other bag, I duplicate everything, guys. I'm gonna duplicate everything. I've got a hand warmer, and guys, let me tell you something. Rope. Just have some rope. My boat was leaking in the Everglades, way away from the boat ramp. Nice guys came by, and they said, "You got some rope?" I said, "Yep." Tied my boat, my canoe, to their power boat, and they took me to the boat ramp. I was sinking. The boat literally had a split that was leaking a little bit, and all of a sudden, it started leaking a lot, really quickly. And also, guys, another thing is, you can burn. You can burn. Again, insects. Again, I'm duplicating a lot of the stuff I had in the other pack. This, because I'm in the canoe, this right here is Gorilla Tape. But it's not a big roll and taking up a lot of space. I got a piece of cardboard and just wrapped it around the cardboard so that it would lie flat. Twice. This has saved buddies whose boat started cracking and started taking on water. Cases and everything. Freaking did it, dude. Along with the rain jacket, okay, this right here is a neoprene shirt. This is what you would use if you're scuba diving in cold water. It's just a neoprene shirt. It's about 1.5 millimeters thick. Why do I bring it? Me and a good buddy were floating down a river, and I had layered, but I did not layer enough, and it started raining. And 2 miles into a 7-mile float, I got chilled. I got chilled because you can have a rain jacket. You're gonna get, you get in a boat on the water, you're going to get wet. It's the way it is. Soaking wet, you put this on. Guys, I just happily fished the rest of the day. Very comfy, very toasty. Twice this has really came in when I underestimated how cold it was going to be on that trip. If there's any piece of equipment that is paramount importance to your trip, take an extra. Always take an extra. Earlier I mentioned that, I wanted you to sit and think. So many times that because I had something extra, I was prepared, it saved a trip. Guys, you may not need it. You may bring something. I'll tell you what, the best thing that'll ever happen is you carry all this junk with you every trip, and you get tired of it, and you never need it. That would be a beautiful thing if you never needed it. But one of these days, you might need it. One of these days, one of your buddies is going to need it.
And then make sure that you replace the things that your buddies used, right?
Yeah, like my missing spare hat. Yeah.
Right. So, and it's just like with your bags. Guys, a lot of times we rob from our get-home bags or our gear bags or whatever, and then we forget to replace it. And so one of the big things is going through a checklist, making sure you have everything to be able to keep you and your friends safe. Because, guys, don't depend on others. You got to depend on yourself.
If you're not going to carry a gun in the woods, don't go in the woods. I also carry bear spray.
Well, and you have things, whether it's two-legged or four-legged or slippery, there are a number of things that you have in the woods. And two, if nothing else, you fire it in the ground if you need to be signaling.
Yep. It's not just bears. Elk will start rutting here soon, and there's a lot of elk. And they may take exception you being around. And a bull elk will kill you.
Right, right.
Need to try the bear spray on an alligator next time I go to Florida.
Well, now, the last time you were in Florida, you told me you were in a 12-foot boat.
Yep.
The alligator was swimming by, and it was the same size.
It was, she's massive. There is, matter of fact, there's one, it's called Croczilla. It's in Everglades National Park. You can look it up online, people film it. And it's something like 17 feet long.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So there are dangers in the woods, so self-defense is definitely a big part of it.
Got to meet Clark's lovely younger sister and had a great time. We went out to eat. Holy cow, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that snake. That, my friend, is a rattler, I think. I'm gonna get the heck away from him. I don't want nothing to do with him at all. Holy cow. Hey there, Mr. Snake. I was gonna walk right by him, and I mean right by him.
So guys, hopefully we've gotten some ideas about how to even be more prepared, especially when you're in the outdoors. It may just be a small day trip, and it could end up in a trip that could break an ankle or do something. And you know, as we've shown in some of the stories that are told, I mean, things can happen. And we really appreciate Derek for coming out, and check out Derek Space YouTube channel. It's just one word. Yep. Derek Space. And I'll have it, of course, I've had it annotated above, and also we'll have it down in the description. But great fishing channel, does a lot of cool, I mean, a lot of small trout, and goes down to Florida. It's really cool. I watch it all the time, and I'm not a huge fisherman, even though I love to fish. And maybe that'll be on the next video. Do that. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
Amen.
That was so well said.
Oh. Or I'll kick your butt.
Derek Space. We're here with the Derek Space. All right.
Derek Space, the final frontier.
Well, Spock.
When I'm in the canoe.
This is your main squeeze.
That's my main squeeze. I could tell you about a squeeze I did on a can. No, forget it. Anyway, that's another story.
All right, Boy Scout.
It looks cooler like this with the gray, man. Does that look good? Does it make me look fat? We'll do an outtake. Does this make me look fat?